Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. Um, we're doing our monthly virtual interactive conference today. And so tell all your friends, pile on in here in this event and on this platform. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. We host our monthly virtual interactive conference every last Saturday of the month. Join us in this virtual interactive conference. On this platform, we're genuine, sincere, transparent, and authentic. Special shout out to those who are putting their reputation on the line to be on the panel. Once I'm able to get this film project fully funded and made, and the proceeds from the film starts coming in, then I will be able to walk into my God-given assignment. Through GRCAM Chicago, I will openly reward those of you who are keeping the lines of communication open with me, and those who have regularly appeared on this platform, especially our international guest speakers. Um, we will give you all an opportunity to come to America, specifically Chicago, Illinois, to preach or speak during our live events. Through the business, we will help pay for your travel and hotel expenses, depending on our budget and sponsorship. We will also give our guest speakers a love offering for their time and talent. If you're serious about being on the panel, then please send me your email address to my backup Facebook inbox, my Instagram inbox, my TikTok inbox, and my LinkedIn inbox. Ladies and gentlemen, once I finish my presentation, then I will open up the show for Q&A. This is called Side B. I prefer to see you on camera first before you come on the show to avoid trolls. This event will help expand your network, enhance your profile visibility, and make more meaningful connection with the global community. I ran across some bad videos about Ghana and Nigeria doing land scams on Black Americans. And that's not a good look. That's not a good look at all, global African family. You guys y'all gonna have to work on that. Then I seen a video of a Nigerian nurse who lives in America who claimed to hate Black Americans. Now that's a doggone shame because it was Black Americans, um, my ancestors, that was fought and died during the civil rights era to help get many African immigrants and Afro Caribbeans to come to the United States. Don't take my word for it, do the research. But this is why a brother named Tariq Nasheed created the delineation movement called FBA, Foundational Black Americans. And so, they get in a lot of beef with he calls the word tethers. And, that's caused division, in the, uh, in the diaspora. So over here on this platform, We don't do that over here. We're not getting caught up in no diaspora wars because we need each other. Um, the question is, so why do we host our monthly virtual interactive conference every last Saturday of the month? This is our way of reflecting the purpose of this platform, which is to broadcast my message through the airwaves to those who will listen. I don't want to waste another 33 years trying to reach out to people who just don't care. A majority of Black Americans that I have came across have become Americanized, entitled, and have developed a sense of a narcissist attitude. Majority of Black Chicagoans that I speak with on the streets in real life tell me that they're not interested in my vision and plan. And this is why I turned to the internet. And I'm experiencing the same type of negative attitude. I've been paying out of pocket for my business title since 2010. I pay the city, I pay the state, and I pay the IRS. Why? Because I care about Black America. That's why. I care about our youth. This is why I have to make this docudrama. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from buying my revised book. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from patronizing my virtual store. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from donating to my film project. That's a personal choice. That's Willie Lynch in real time, ladies and gentlemen. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group, Black Americans, before I cut and run to Africa. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. realized that um, the civil rights were not enough. He said before his assassination, he felt that he was leading his people into a burning house. We can't help everybody. If a majority of Black Americans want to remain in that burning house, let them burn. Again, I put 33 years on the line, online as well as in real life, trying to get this business popping. And I'm still on first base. It's a doggone shame, frustrating. I don't like what I'm going through. Somebody has to do this, but I'm not going to spend the rest of my life trying to keep reaching out, spending money out of my pocket, doing these, being on this platform just to be humiliated while our children are being slaughtered. This is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America, and I'm reaching out to the global African family who reside in Canada, Europe, and any other place, even on the African continent. I need you all to step up. If you're serious about me bringing my Christian business to your country, we got to get it popping here in Chicago first. I'm only going to focus on Chicago. And like I say, once we get it up and running here in Chicago, then I'm going to turn the business over to qualified managers that's going to help run the business without me being present. So that way I can expand it to the African continent. Um, Again, I'm doing the best that I can to get this business popping. Again, I have the business title, yet I don't have a physical building. And this is why I am online. I want GRCAM members to move from behind this computer. So I'm switching up a little bit. My message remains the same. Those who've rejected my vision and plan for the past 33 years will not be part of my business. Ain't nothing changed on my end. Um, all I'm asking African immigrants in America and the global African family, first of all, you don't have to live in America to purchase my book. My book is available on Amazon. And if you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, you automatically become a GRCAM member. I'm also asking for your support for the film project, but I want people to read my story first. So that way you have a better idea, you can feel more connected. And those of you that got the qualifications that I'm looking for, make yourself known to me. That's all I'm saying. Like I say, once we get this film project fully funded and made, it's going to put me in a better position financially. So that way I can purchase property in Chicago, Illinois, buy office equipment, hire qualified Black middle class professionals, and hire qualified African immigrants here in the United States. And for us to build the best African American business within the United States of America, and that would be the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. So all I'm trying to do, I don't want to die in America or get bogged down with American issues. Instead, I want to expand my Christian business to 10 African nations, starting in South Africa. I want to bring that Black American energy over there to help Black South Africans that want more out of life. I want to create jobs for Black South Africans who are or will become GRCAM members. For it, for it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. That's in um that's in the book of Philippine oh, excuse me, tongue tied. Philippians chapter 2, verse 13. What is the grassroots community activist movement? Well, the grassroots community activist movement is what I created back in 1991 on a site called Gopher. It was geared toward raising the awareness about the genocide, both physical and political genocide that's taking place within our inner cities, specifically Chicago. And I created that, I would say, movement in order to connect with other like minded individuals who share my vision to form a legitimate coalition across the United States and around the globe for my cause, which is help stop the genocide in American ghettos, starting in Chicago. And violence is a moral issue, just like slavery and lynching. Mega corporations want to control the internet and silence inspired voices. GRCAM is a body of believers committed to the cause of Christ and willing to serve in this day and age. We believe and support the concept of family as described in my revised book, which is the foundation of my Christian business. Our focus is on strengthening the Black family, the African family, with an emphasis on marriage defined by God as the uniting of one man with one woman. We welcome secular Black people, secular African people, as long as they respect our beliefs and abide by our rules and regulations. We are the voice of the voiceless. GRCAM is a Black grassroots global initiative intended to unite like minded Black Americans, like minded African immigrants, as well as throughout the diaspora. We aim to mobilize GRCAM members worldwide to support our film projects so that we can move from behind the internet and make our presence known in Chicago, specifically in the African American community. Starting on the west side of Chicago, we will serve the Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale community. Then we will expand to the south side of Chicago, make our presence known over there as well. Our goal is to make Chicago a model city. We will also make our presence known in the African immigrant community. Help stop the genocide in America. Ghettos is our media component of the grassroots community activist movement and a platform for us to discuss social issues and recruit brave and smart Black Americans and brave and smart African immigrants to help us improve our inner cities in Chicago, as well as to expand to the African continent. We have people of African descent from various cultures and backgrounds, such as Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Caribbeans, and Afro-Latinos. We aim to build a bridge of unification and celebrate our shared diversity. We're headed into the fifth month of 2025, and yet we still don't have any donations. And this is why I'm documenting everything so that future Black organizations that's trying to do things like what I'm trying to do can avoid the pitfalls that I had to endure just for trying to build something constructive for the African American community. Before I go into my presentation, I will show a few slides and explain why this film project is needed and why the Black world needs to know our story. I'm grateful that we have 1,000 people on my backup Facebook page. Now that's fine. Grateful for that. But I don't want people to be on my page just to be seen. Same thing for in my groups. That's nice. I have a lot of people that's in my online groups. But if you're there just to be seen, we're going to leave you behind. I want to connect with people that's serious, people that want to do business with me. Again, I'm still going to give that spread that olive branch to like-minded Black Americans. But again, my focus here on out is to reach out to African immigrants within the United States of America and the global African family. In 10 African nations, they are as follows: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. I'm not asking you to march and protest and all that. All I want you to do is purchase my revised book, read my story for yourself. The title of my revised book is called The Solution for Black America: Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available in two forms, either as an ebook for $9.99 or as a softcover book for $15 plus shipping and handling. Again, I ask that you read the whole book. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then make yourself known to me. Provide my business email in the book, and let's talk about that. Now, if you're camera shy, then you don't have to come on the show. That's fine. Or you can come on the show and just use an icon to represent your identity. I'm just saying. Some people don't like being on camera, and I respect you know, your comfort level. But again, I want to connect with people that's on business and that's going to be on the up and up. And especially those of you that's going to be part of our film project, you're going to go down in history with me and Sister Renee. Mm. Now, before I go any further with my reading my speech, I'm going to show some slides because I do come with receipts. And yes, I show this all the time, but I want people to know that this is not a game, that this is that slave mentality in real time. First, we're going to start off with an article. Okay, just a moment. Bear with me, please. It's not easy for me to be doing it like this, but hey, I have to do it. So this is the screen that I'm trying to share. Um, and that's from Fortune magazine. And basically, it's saying the title, a Zoom call of 44,000 Black women raised 1.5 million for Kamala Harris in 3 hours. Quote, we were ready, unquote. So that's that 92% of Black women that voted for Kamala Harris. Those same sisters would use that same energy for what I'm trying to do with my film project, as well as with my book. We could be making some real moves right now. But again, Black America's taking me for joke. It's unfortunate. But again, this is why I created my platform. Ladies and gentlemen. Um, Again, I don't want to die in America. I want to bring my business to the African continent, but we got to get it popping here in America first because this is where I'm at and this is for credibility, ladies and gentlemen. So that can be done. I can be able to raise, all I'm trying to raise is $250,000, even though, that's supposed to be quote unquote low budget, but doggone it, I want to make a quality film. And that's how come I'm reaching out to Black filmmakers and African filmmakers within the United States of America. But I ask that y'all read my story first. So that way I don't have to waste time trying to explain to you what's already in writing. All right, the next slide that I want to share. Okay, so do y'all see that? All right, the next slide. Just bear with me. Doing the best I can with this stuff. This is with the Guardian. And there we go. And so with this, it's saying the median wealth of Black Americans will fall to zero by 2053, warns new report. So this stuff is, these are quote unquote experts. Now, I predict 2040, because of this slave mentality within Black society. That's going to be the downfall of Black America, bottom line. And I hate to be the one to say, "Oh, I told you so," and this and that. But look, I just at this point, at this stage in the game, all I care about is getting this thing started here in the city of Chicago. And like I say, I want to turn it over to managers that can run the business without me being present, because I want to take um, my business ideas and I want to expand it to the African continents. But before I cut and run, I want to make sure I'm able to sustain myself in Africa. I want to make sure that I'm able to hire the locals when I get there. So this is my strategy. So I don't want to come to Africa handed. I want to bring tangibles. But at least before I cut and run, I still want to try to do something for my own people. Yes, they act a little funny style. That's not cool. But I understand my people, Black Americans, a lot of them are paranoid, and a lot of them have been affected by um, the crack epidemic. So it's a lot of dysfunction. But I'm here to raise the bar. Like I said, I want to create the best African American business within the United States of America. And again, we can't help everybody. And those that's not part of us, we'll pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. And that's just how it is. So, anyway, I'm gonna move on to my next slide that I want you all to see. Um, the next slide, get out here. I have two more slides to go. Uh, well, my bad. I have three. My next slide is going to be my book. Y'all can see that. All right. Now, see right here where I have the cursor? You can get the ebook for $9.99. I try to work it out with Amazon to try to make it as affordable as possible. But again, I have to, even on Amazon, I have to pay out of pocket, to advertise on here. This stuff ain't free. But hey, it is what it is. Like I say, once we get this thing popping, I want to make sure that, like I say, this is going to be membership based, and I want to make sure that none of my members have to endure none of this type of foolishness that I endured. And we are going to declare war on this slave mentality within Black culture. We're also going to declare war on that colonized mindset that affects um, brothers and sisters from African immigrants, from the African immigrant community, as well as on the continent. We're going to declare war against that colonized mindset as well. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the ebook is $9.99. The paperback is $15 plus shipping and handling. You see that right there on your upper right side. And again, this is the book right here. And I try to make it as an ebook so you could just download it to your smartphone and read it from there. And again, You don't have to live in the United States of America to be part of my business. All I'm asking is just help me get it on the bestsellers list so that way I can do my job. That's why I wrote the book, trying to generate capital, because I'm not coming at people just asking them to donate money to the film project. Read the book first, please. That's what I ask. If you agree, then you automatically become a GRCAM member and then connect with me so we can talk this stuff out and get the ball rolling. The next step is for us to get this film project fully funded and made so that way I can do my God-given assignment. All righty. So I'm going to go to the next slide, and that's going to be our PayPal Given Fund. Go there. People can see that. Here it is right here. Still no donations. Been asking for donations since January of this year. Is what it is. And this is why it's taken me so long. Critics want to say, well, what's taking you so long to get the thing up and running? I'm like, hey, if I don't have, without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I can't do my job. It's just that simple. And the white supremacist financial elites, they're not going to fund this type of business. Oh, no. Because this is going to get Black Americans on code. That's what the code is. All the principles in my revised book. That's what I'm selling. Selling an idea. Righty, we showed you that. Um, Trying to get out of this. So unfortunately, yeah, I gotta go through all of this, but it is what it is. That's all I can say, bottom line. And now the last slide that I want to show is from our GoFundMe page. And yes, the every year I have to do another GoFundMe page. I've been doing this since 2012. Sometimes I get a little donation, sometimes I don't. But bottom line, I'm not getting much donations at all. And so this is why I'm reaching out to the global African family. We are going to challenge that Pan-Africanism. It's good to sit up here and have good ideas or, talk big, but I back up everything I say to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody want to be a part of my business, you're going to have to keep it real. And I require that thumbprint. And I want you to meet me in person. I don't want to just sit up here and just be talking to you behind a computer, behind the internet. I need smart boots on the ground here in the city of Chicago. And that's what I'm trying to do. I want to recruit people, but we're going to have to get this film project fully funded and made first. That way, the Black world can take us serious. And whatever I earn from the proceeds from the film, that's what I'm going to use to go forward to get this thing popping. I'm going to hire those of you that has the qualifications that I'm looking for. You're going to have to come to Chicago, bottom line. And I will pay. I'm not in a position to pay anyone right now because I'm not making any money from this. That's I'm being open and honest. But I will make money from it. because the devil's a lie. Uh, make a comparison. Um, what's the brother's name? I don't have it in front of me. Camelo Anthony. I'm just putting that out there. Yes, he had a right to defend himself, but he still killed somebody, and yet he is getting support for his legal team. Here I am trying to build something constructive for the Black community for the past 33 years. Lord knows this is frustrating on my end, but this is going to come to an end. And like I say, I'm going to just do the best that I can to. I'm not interested in writing any more books because I wrote the vision and made it plain. But now, like I say, I just want to do this film, and the proceeds I earn from that film, I'm going to use to start my business. That's all I'm saying. All right, ladies and gentlemen, just bear with me as I attempt to go back to where I was at in my presentation. Um, let's see. Okay, I want to make sure that Sister Renee is well taken care of because she has been working with me behind the scenes for the past 13 years. And we will dedicate a local chapter for her in West Memphis, Arkansas, before I turn the business over to my managers. I want to make sure that I will be able to sustain myself in South Africa and lead by example by applying for dual citizenship. Then I'm going to set up my Christian business over there. And then we're going to shoot a second film, which would be the sequel, and that would be called African Liberator Battle Against the Colonized Mindset. But bottom line, right now, I'm just focusing on getting my first film, um, trying to raise funds for that. And again, that's Hood Liberator, made in Chicago. The war against Willie Lynch begins. This is a solution-based docudrama based on my experience growing up in the city of Chicago and the purpose why I created the grassroots community activist movement. This is our Black Panther moment, except it's not owned by Disney, it's owned by GRCAM members. And again, I can't pass down my business to my family because a majority of my family members are full of Willie Lynch. I only can pass down the business to GRCAM members. So I need you all to do your part. Work with me while I'm alive. Don't wait until I'm dead. We are using crowdfunding, specifically the GoFundMe and PayPal Giving Fund, so that way everybody know exactly where the funds will be going. Our objective is to raise $250,000. Those donations will help with our marketing campaign, production, and legal expenses to make this docudrama. If you're a U.S. citizen, then I recommend that you use our PayPal Giving Fund page because you can use it as a tax write-off because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit faith-based and community advocacy organization. Again, we will compete against Pan-Africanism in order to win the hearts and minds of Black Americans and Africans worldwide. Don't get me wrong, Marcus Garvey was a great leader, and I agree with what he said that Black people should leave America and reclaim our ancestral homeland, Africa. But the problem with Marcus Garvey, he never went to Africa. Instead, he went to Europe and ended up dying over there. That's unfortunate. We are not under the so-called freedom flag, which is red, black, and green. He also left God out of his organization. Pan Africanism has been out for the past 160 years, and we as Black people are still facing the same issues our grandparents faced during the Civil Rights era. A few of my associates who relocated to Africa told me that majority of businesses in Africa are owned by non-Africans. Arabs, Asians, East Indians, and Europeans own and control a majority of the business on the African continent. And that's why I'm trying to bring my business over there to teach Native Africans how to compete against those foreign or non-African businesses. I want to establish my Christian business in America first for credibility. My business will be membership based. My revised book, again, is the foundation of my business. I provide the link to my Amazon author page in the comment section below this audio podcast. Once we get this film project fully funded and made, and once the proceeds from the film starts pouring in, then I will be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, hire qualified Black middle class professionals, and qualified African immigrants. I am called by my Lord and Savior, Jesus/Yahshua, to rebuild our inner cities in America, starting in Chicago, similar to that of Nehemiah, who was called by God to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Nehemiah used qualified engineers, architects, and inventors to rebuild a new city. We are seeking qualified Black middle class professionals and African immigrants in the following areas: Black attorneys, African attorneys, investors, business partners, Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, and philanthropists. We're also looking for legitimate artists such as film directors, producers, actors, stage managers, professional fundraisers, technical directors, and marketers from across the United States of America. GRCAM Chicago will offer an interactive space for Black Americans, African immigrants, Afro Brazilians, Afro Latinos, and Afro Caribbeans, Black millennials, and Generation Z. Non Black sympathizers are welcome to join us, but not as groups, but as individuals, depending on where they stand as it pertains to lineage-based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves/freedmen. The GRCAM Chicago will provide quality programs and services to benefit the African American community and the African immigrant community. It's my hope that GRCAM Chicago would become a multi-million-dollar business and become a nation become a national and international franchise, just like McDonald's, just like Jeff Bezos, founder of Amazon. He started off with his company online, then he leaped into the supermarket industry, buying Whole Foods Market, creating Amazon fulfillment centers beyond cyberspace. If only I had that same support from the African American community and African immigrant community, as well as the global African family. Imagine where Africa would be today. This is what my film would touch on, all of the pushback that I received, not from white America, but from Black America. And this mess must stop. Our children's future is at stake. GRCAM is committed to enhancing the lives, success, and well-being of those who reside within the African American community. This vision is bigger than myself. This is why I am going public with my story in hopes of connecting with the right people who have the means to turn my vision and plan for Black America into a reality. We push for change and foster growth through initiatives that address critical disparities in areas like health, education, Black business ownership, technology, and youth development. We're advocating for Black residents and African residents. The grassroots community activist movement welcomes like minded Black Americans, like minded African immigrants, and the global African family from around the globe to engage with us on our online platform to discuss social issues affecting Black Americans and Africans, build connections on these webinars, networking events while celebrating the richest of Black culture and African culture. Mission of GRCAM of Chicago to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through art, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African and Caribbean tours. We will promote economic opportunities in the African American community and in the African immigrant community by being an advocate and as well as an economic base. We will offer different membership levels, basic membership, networking membership, and entrepreneur memberships. Kai of Chicago will be a multi-purpose facility consisting of a nonprofit sector and a for-profit sector operating under 9 functions under one roof within the African American community. A social service component, a spiritual component, which will be optional for secular people, a political component, an entertainment component, an entrepreneur component, a health and wellness component, Black grassroots media component, science and technology component, travel and tourism component. Under the for-profit business sector, this will be known as the red zone. This is where I will make my bread and butter. We will own and control our own community grocery store, community health care clinic, and community housing because everyone needs food and shelter. This will be group economics in action. We will offer an associate's degree programs as well as vocational training for our members and students. Our curriculum will have technical knowledge with artistic explorations and creativity taught by industry experienced professionals. We will offer degrees in animation, auto production, business, music production, digital filmmaking, graphic design, music production, writing for film and TV. Journalism, filmmaking, and writing will be our top courses. Documentaries gives us the power to understand each other as humans in a way like never before. Storytelling is the backbone of culture. Storytelling makes us human. We will offer stipend to Black youth, African youth, and others who participate in our Black empowerment films so that they can feed their families and heal our city. This is our contribution back to the community. We believe access to multimedia experience will bring community residents together. It's also important for us to provide community residents with opportunities to gain experience in broadcasting, programming, and operating a multimedia center. We will offer state-of-the-art recreational center, which will have bowling, high ropes adventures, captivating game rooms featuring the latest video and amusements, stylish billboards, energetic dance rooms, and quality restaurants, various business, on-site childcare, and an on-site music recording studio for our members and students making documentary films and stage plays. In addition, we will host family-friendly activities, including combination deals, birthday parties, weddings, and corporate parties slash events. We will offer rental space to our members who have a startup business and went through our business programs. Ohio, Chicago Main objective is to strengthen Black families and African families by investing in underserved and at-risk youth and encouraging them to become leaders. We envision a world in which young people can unlock their full potential and dare to dream. A world in which opportunity and economic mobility are accessible. We will invest in our youth by focusing on mentorship, leadership, and professional development, college readiness, workforce development, and skill building. Under the nonprofit cooperative, this will be known as the Green Zone. GRCAM of Chicago will be governed by an advisory board. GRCAM of Chicago will be membership based and operate for the mutual benefit of our members. Also, any earnings we make are returned to our members in the form of lower prices through quality programs and services. We will assist our members with their utility bills, depending on our budget and sponsorship. We will offer light groceries through our food pantry and tutoring service for Black youth, African youth, and their families. The Kai of Chicago will help benefit Africa because we will form an alliance with African immigrants in the United States of America, started in Chicago. In each African nation that we will visit, we will match Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. So that way we can do international trade among our people and members. We also plan on setting up local chapters in each African nation that we visit. Our objective is to unite middle class, working class, and so called underclass Africans with the diaspora and vice versa. In Kakai of Africa, we will teach our members and students about white supremacy and learn not to be used as an instrument for them at their own or for our own self destruction. For example, Western nations are recruiting African youth to come to America, Canada, and Europe for a so called better life. Kakai of Africa will try to meet the social needs of African youth to provide jobs so that they can feed their families. We want both Black, Black American artists and African artists who are comedians, fashion designers, filmmakers, models, musicians, poets, gospel singers, spiritual leaders, as well as Black entrepreneurs and African entrepreneurs within our business because they're going to be the backbone. I'm on a mission from God to share my plan and vision with those who will listen on how the CAM members will take the lead in turning around our inner city in America, starting in Chicago. But like I say, I'm not going to go beyond Chicago because I don't want to waste another 33 years. Once we get it popping in Chicago, I'm out of here. My vision for Africa to reconnect with our ancestral homeland. We will go through the proper channels with each African government to start the Kai of South Africa, the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of South Africa. We will offer employment to our members and students based on our budget and sponsorship. We will focus on improving Africa's infrastructure for clean running water, agricultural technology to feed the people, offer solar panels to help with their electric generators, and most of all, help improve the South African economy in exchange for dual citizenship for Black Americans who are GRCAM members. The Kai of Chicago will promote Black economic empowerment on a domestic front and also on an international front. We will bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade. We will reconnect. I already said that already, so I'm skipping that. Once we get this film project fully funded and made and the proceeds starts pouring in, then I would be in a better position financially to do all this stuff that I'm talking about. We will hold mandatory orientation for local residents. Everyone must pass our criminal background check, sign the community pledge, and submit their thumbprint to be placed in our database. That's so we can weed out people that's trying to undermine us, basically. For Cal Chicago, we raise the bar in Black America. There will be protocol in place to separate ourselves from con artists, the Black Boule, degenerates, Democrat shields, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off code Negroes, and urban terrorists. All of the principles in my revised book is the code for GRCAM members. Those who are not part of us, again, we will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. I'm only responsible for GRCAM members. Again, I do not operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing. Um, okay, so for example, anyone who tries to join our business then tries to promote the LGBT agenda, they will get two warnings. The third time, that person or persons will have their name, photo ID, and address displayed on our Judas list for everybody to see, and they will be barred for life. Anyone who tries to steal money from the business will also be placed on the Judas list, and we will take them to federal court and do the best that we can to press charges against them. If they don't have any money, then we're gonna push for them to do some time. Um, in this business, we're M1, meaning we are melanated first. Our focus is on solving Black issues at the community level. I will never forget where I came from or who I'm fighting for. Let's make real change happen together. Your CAM members. Calling upon Black content creators and African content creators. Allow me to come on your platform so that way I can promote my revised book and my film project to your audience. Notice how Donald Trump and Elon Musk are putting their people first, but we as Black people, we need to move like that so that way we can do great things. If we lose Africa, we lose everything. I call upon Black filmmakers and African filmmakers within the United States of America to stand up and make yourself known to me. First, purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan, then the next step is for you to contact. I'll provide my business email in my book, and so we can talk first. I prefer that you would come on this platform, but I respect people's privacy too. Those of you that's uncomfortable, don't feel comfortable about being on camera and all that stuff. I respect that. But those of you that's not afraid, get on camera, make arrangements with me so we can talk about this because I want you all to put me on blast. I don't want to be doing this another 33 years. My information is already out there. I'm trying. I have ball is basically in your court. Um, Black grassroots as well as the global African family. There's nothing more that I can do. If you want it, cool. If not, it is what it is. But I'm documenting this stuff so that way the whole Black world would know who Emmanuel Barbee is and what Emmanuel Barbee is trying to do for my members that's here in America before I expand it to the African continent. So if you're serious about me bringing it to the African continent, then do business with me so we can get this thing ball rolling. I call upon black black millennials and Generation Z to read my revised book and get behind this film project. After all, this Christian business is my gift to you and your family. The sooner we get this film project fully funded and made, the sooner I can get this business up and running in the city of Chicago. Um, call upon my international friends in my African group, GRCAI of Africa. I understand that you are all living hand to mouth due to corruption, in your countries. Um, you don't have to purchase my revised book. Instead, put me on blast, meaning help make my audio podcast and my video podcast go viral by leaving public comments about the topic in my on my YouTube page, and share with your friends on Facebook and any other social media sites that you are on. And most of all, like I say, just keep sharing my information, but just put me on blast. That's all I'm asking you to do. And hopefully I can meet you in person once I get the business up and running here in America, and then I expand it to the African continent. If you're not able to come to America, you'll be able to meet me on the continent. Call upon everyone in my Christian groups, Light of the World Inspirational Group, and Christian Spoken Word Network. I need your help. Please purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform, get on camera, and let's talk about it, to encourage others to get involved. Also, back up our film project. Even if you're unable to participate in these events, please watch the replay, leave a public comment in the about the topic on my YouTube page, and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. The title of this presentation: Exposing the Evil Plan White Supremacist Financial Elites Have for Africa and Black America. We're talking about a documentary that a Kenyan sister named Abigail Lucy Lucy Mary discussed on her show, entitled, quote, White Man Confessions on His Involvement in Plans to Eradicate Black People, especially Black South Africans, unquote. Fair use, YouTube. Now, I'm not going to play the video. You all saw it. I posted it on my Facebook page. So all you got to do is look at it on there, or if you're on X, you can see it on there. If you're on my LinkedIn page, it's on there. I put it on all my major sites that I'm on. So basically, notice the arrogance and sense of entitlement that this white man had, speaking publicly about a controversial topic: the plan to annihilate innocent Black Africans off the face of the earth. Africans have been living in Africa for thousands of years without AIDS or any of these viruses. These low down racist people have all of the hatred towards Africans worldwide. I remember the Ebola outbreak in Liberia in 2014. A lot of these US pharmaceutical companies have a lot of these viruses. And the question is why? Ever since Europeans left Europe and came to African shores, Africa has been catching hell ever since. This should be a wake up call for the global African family. Again, I don't want to be doing this another 33 years. I'd rather have the business up and running in America and expanding it to the African continent so I can work with Africans that want more out of life, create jobs for Africans. That's the whole purpose of me doing this, people, ladies and gentlemen. The hidden mechanicism keeping Africa economically and politically dependent on these former colonizers, which were from Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, and the United Kingdom. From unfair trade policies to exploitive agreements. In this presentation, I will explain how neocolonialism continues to enslave Africa in this day and age. The question is, can Africa truly become independent? We're starting to see Africa reclaim her natural resources. Shout out to Dr. Kenna. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She has a hard name to pronounce, but shout out to her for exposing France, who controlled 14 African nations, even after its so called independence. As a result, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger were able to finally stand up and kick France out of their country because they uh, they did a coup, and if that's what it takes, so be it. Followed by Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and Chad. The damage of 400 years of exploitation by Europe must be reversed. But before I cut and run to Africa, I need GRCAM members to help me build the best African American business in the United States. And again, that's the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. We have to build it here first so that future generations they can know that we were here. And again, I want to make sure none of my members have to ever endure such foolishness that I went through, because that's not going to happen under my leadership. And that's real. You have my word on that. Our objective is for like-minded Black Americans and like-minded African immigrants within the United States who are GRCAM members for both groups to heal from the scars of slavery and colonization. George Floyd is a daily reminder of our experience living here in America. We don't have an anti-Black hate crime bill like the Asian Americans, which is a double standard. The only reason why white America treat Black Americans as third and fourth class citizens is because we don't have an embassy. All these other groups who came to America came voluntarily. I don't want our global African family to view us as strangers, but rather view us as displaced Africans. Each African nation that we establish a local chapter, we will have both continental Africans and descendants of American slaves have an equal authority within the business. In contrast, in Black America, the status of Black Americans 13 years after the release of my revised book highlights the persistent economic disparities faced by the African American community. While there have been notable progress of individual achievements in token positions over the years, it is overshadowed by the group as a collective. Despite individual success, Black Americans remain economically disadvantaged under a system called white supremacy. I predicted in my revised book that the Latino community would fight like hell to have their people to become U.S. citizens. I'm talking about the ones that came over here illegally. So the illegal immigrants. Yeah, they're going to fight for those people because they're on code with each other. All these other groups are on code with each other except Black Americans due to this slave mentality. Even in my own family, they tell me, oh, Emmanuel, you should leave. You should stop trying to start your own business. You should get a real job. That means work for the white man. And that's that slave mentality. And if anybody talk to me like that, I push them out of my life and I don't want to talk to them at all. If I'm like that with my own family members, how you think I'm gonna be with strangers? So watch what you say to me about trying to impose that slave mentality on me, because that's not happening. The white supremacist financial elites are allowing illegal immigrants to flock over here and be dumped in the African American community to compete for resources against Black Americans. At this stage of the game, Black Americans have two choices: either embrace annihilation or embrace survival. I only want to work with those that want to survive and have ambitions in life. That's real. The progress that Black Americans have made in this country has been slow. We're still consumers. It's my hope that once GRCAM members began to embrace my vision and plan, um, and once we get GRCAM Chicago up and running, then we can start producing more Black entrepreneurs and African entrepreneurs. The white supremacist financial elites still view Black Americans as three-fifth humans. That's just it is what it is, because that's in the Constitution. Marcus Garvey was right. Removing ourselves beyond the United States of America is the best thing for us, but we need to build the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago first, again for credibility. Realistically speaking, not all 40 million Black Americans will be able to up and leave due to finances. This is why we're trying to build GRCAM Chicago to prove to Black millennials and Generation Z that this business is for them and their children. Dr. Martin Luther King realized again that near the end of his life that civil rights alone was not enough, that uh, he was trying to stump for reparations, and that's what got him assassinated. And also, I have a clip about that too. You can find that on my Medium transcript, located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on that, click on the link, and scroll down to show and prove, and then you can find that video. The white supremacist financial elites is designed to keep black black people as a collective destitute. Only a few are allowed to move up the ladder, while the majority remain in a cycle of poverty. This has been happening for centuries. The white supremacist financial elites never miss a chance to steal Black Americans' wealth and keep us poor. As I mentioned in my revised book, slavery played an important role by depriving Black Americans our basic human rights and systematically excluded us from economic opportunities, treating our ancestors as property and denying them the ability to accumulate wealth. The Jim Crow era further entrenched economic disparities through legal segregation, subjected Black Americans to institutionalized racism in education, employment, and housing. For example, redlining, a disciplinary practice, classified neighborhoods based on racial composition, limiting Black Americans' access to capital in the form of loans and mortgages, hindering their ability to accumulate generational wealth. In, in contemporary times, discrimination and racism in employment, hiring, promotion, and wage disparities as a result, this contribute to income inequality. Black Americans encounter barriers to access high paying jobs and career advancement opportunities. Educational inequalities rooted in funding disparities and discrimination policies perpetuate cycles of poverty by limiting access to quality education and hindering economic mobility. The criminal justice system exacerbated disparities through over policing, racial profiling, and sentencing disparities, leading to higher incarceration rates of Black Americans. The wealth gap persists due to historical disadvantages, including limiting access to home ownership, discriminatory lending practice, and the absence of generational wealth. Systematic racism embedded in various institutions perpetuate unequal access to opportunity, shaping economic outcomes for Black Americans. All this strengthens the argument that the system of white supremacy in the United States has been structured in a manner that targets Black Americans. The aftermath of slavery, American slavery, brought forth a harsh reality of the Black white wealth gap due to financial instability and prosperity proved to be a challenge because of systematic racism blocking the path of Black economic empowerment. Trying to obtain a dignified life in America became a battleground for Black Americans who were striving to secure their place in this society. Facing obstacles rooted in discriminatory practice, the promise of equal opportunity for all was crushed under the weight of prejudice, leaving many Black Americans fighting within limited access to basic resources. For example, housing is a symbol of stability and progress. Legal segregation under the term called restrictive covenants and redlining uh, help confine Black families to certain neighborhoods marked by neglect and inadequate resources. The dream of home ownership is part of the American dream. Black Americans' home ownership was often obstructed by discrimination, lending practices, which continue the cycles of inequality. Please support this platform. We want to build a strong African American community and a strong African immigrant community within the United States so that we can eventually expand our Christian business to the African continent. We need your support. How can you support us? By purchasing my revised book and reading my story. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then you automatically become a GRCAM member. Another way you can support this platform is donating what you can towards our film project. I provide our GoFundMe page and our PayPal Give and Fund page in the comment section below this audio podcast. Let's continue. Throughout history, the United States of America encountered key moments that they could have rectified the wrongs of American slavery through reparations. Such crucial moments unfold after the Civil War, when General Sherman took significant steps by signing Field Order 15. His groundbreaking order aimed to allocate 400,000 acres of confiscated Confederate land to Black families, leading to a path toward Black economic empowerment. However, the promise of reparation was short lived when President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. President Andrew Johnson reversed the order, reinstating the lands of former slave owners and giving them reparations instead of the enslaved people, which perpetuate a cycle of disempowerment for African Americans. And that's straight up low down. General Sherman Field recognized the need for tangible repair to readdress historic wrongs inflicted upon Black Americans, allocate land, which was symbolic gesture to provide Black Americans with the means to have economic independence. But President Andrew Johnson was against reparation for Black Americans. He ignored the GI Bill and Social Security of the New Deal. These policies failed to address the racial wrongs, and instead they inadvertently perpetuate systematic injustice, which gave rise to racial racial housing covenants and redlining emerging as barriers that prevent Black Americans from benefiting from these federal programs. The GI Bill, a landmark legislation, was designed to provide returning veterans with educational opportunities and home loans. However, the promise of equal access was met by the reality of racial discrimination against Black Americans. For example, racial housing covenants were contractual agreements restricting the sales of property to Black Americans, limiting the housing options to Black veterans. But they want them to fight for this country. It's just really sad, but I'm glad that a lot of Black Americans are waking up, and I'd be glad that we can get this business up and running so I can bring the business over to the continent. That's all. These discriminatory practices excluded Black Americans from utilizing the home ownership benefits offered by the GI Bill, hindering their ability to accumulate intergenerational wealth. Similarly, redlining, a discriminatory practice by which certain neighborhoods were marked as high risk for investment based on race, further marginalized Black Americans. The consequences of redlining were far reaching as it restricts access to loans and financial resources, particularly for Black families. The struggle for wealth, wealth accumulating among Black Americans is not merely a historical artifact, it is an ongoing battle against systematic biases. The wealth gap persists with Black Americans earning less than their white counterparts for the same work. The promise of freedom post emancipation also encountered challenges in the criminal justice system. The disproportionate targeting Black individuals also perpetuate a cycle of poverty. Mass incarceration of Black Americans persists through generation, undermining the promise of a society where justice is blind and equal to all. Black Americans encounter disparities in health care access. The 20th century, Black Americans own at least 14 million acres of land. Fast forward to the 21st century, a staggering 90% of the land has been stripped away from Black Americans. The current landscape reversed that 1.1 million acres of firm farmland theft. Please leave a public comment about the topic in the comments section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. So, what we're going to do now, I'm going to turn the show over to my panel and see if they have some insights that they would like to share. And then I'm going to open up the phone lines by dropping the link in the chat room for people that's listening for you to participate in this discussion. And again, yes, the 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 market, what's going on right now, with the tariffs that President Trump is imposing on these different countries. Basically, it's going to be a collapse. A collapse is coming. I hate to say that. They also call it a recession. You know, but I don't feel sorry for these white supremacists. They're the ones that caused all these problems. How do you become the world's richest nation on earth to now becoming the world's in debt nation? Because a lot of this stuff, these white supremacists practicing all this anti-black racism and discrimination and all that stuff. It's just bad. And now um, people are starting to wake up and find out how these people are. So yes, they can whitewash, the history books all they want to, but you know, bottom line, people are knowing they're waking up. Black world is waking up, and people are just getting sick and tired of these white supremacists trying to dictate everything and hoard resources. That's the problem. They want to hoard everything. And shoot, that's why people such as myself, we don't want to be around these racist type of people. That's why we would rather go back to Africa. But I don't want to just cut and run to Africa. I want to try to help my own people here. But hey, I don't want to be wasting another 33 years. But I know that once this business is will materialize, we make an impact. I'm in a position where I can hire people, then I wouldn't have to be online doing these podcasts. I'll be working in the field, just trying to recruit people, get our brothers and sisters that's like-minded to buy the book, get behind the film project, be a part of it. With that being said, I'm gonna just wait around for I'm gonna give them, I would say 10 minutes. If I don't hear from my panelists, then we can just call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean business. I've been standing on business 10 toes down for the past 33 years. Now, again, I'm reaching out to African immigrants within the United States and the global African family. Work with me. I'm trying to do something constructive, and I got something positive to offer. But my business is membership based. This is how it is, and this is how it's going to be. That being said, peace and blessings. And again, I'm going to wait around for 10 minutes. Thank you all for listening. That's side A. We're finna jump to side B. And um, for my panelists, make yourself known so that way um, we can get this show popping. But again, please, ladies and gentlemen that's listening, don't do this for me. Do this for the our children, because I don't have any kids. This world don't deserve my seed, but that's another story. I'm trying to be a blessing to those of you that have children. So parents, single black mothers, single black fathers. Right. That's that's all I can say for now. And again, I'm waiting for my panelists to come forth if they're gonna be on here, so that way we can go to side B. Thank you.